So outworking people included a really, really intense summer workout program. And there's a character in the book, I don't know if it's his real name, but Crazy Frank and his workouts. So can you talk about, you opted into this. This wasn't something that your coach said you need to do. This is something that you wanted to do. So Who's Crazy Frank and what sort of workout regimen did he put you under?
Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't say Crazy Frank on his birth certificate, although maybe it should. His name is Frank, but people call him Crazy Frank. Dear friend, he actually became quite a prominent trainer in the years that followed our work together. But he trained people for the military, very hardcore. This is something that you wouldn't do casually. It relates to what we were just talking about. So my sophomore year at Stanford, we were the #1 team in the country. We started the season 26-0. So we won our first 26 games. We were literally the top ranked team in the country. I had a very tough year individually. I had no confidence. I couldn't make a shot. So I played and I was one of the first guys off the bench, but it wasn't happening for me. And all I wanted to do was play in the NBA like my dad. I had worked, I was obsessed with it. We were the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I missed a shot at the buzzer that would have tied the game in the second round when we got upset. They're making fun of me on ESPN, right? This is kind of what I was going through at the time. And I just remember thinking, I need to do something different. And I think that lesson is applicable to all we do, business, life, relationship. Like sometimes you need to do something different. And in this context, different than my competition. And for me at the time, my competition was the teams we're playing against and my teammates. You're competing with everyone because if you want to be the best, you want to be the best. And that's where I was at. Frank, so we were working hard at Stanford. We had trainers, we were spending 3-4 hours a day working out, but I knew Frank was a little different. So I worked out with him one day in the spring because and we were close personal friends. We would come to my games and he would always tell me, you have to work out with me. You have to work out with me. And I went for one day, he had me sprinting up sand hills and carrying buckets of sand and doing these crazy exercises. And I write in the book, after about 13 minutes, I thought I was going to pass out and faint. And he said, that's enough, sir. And he tells everyone, sir, that's enough, sir. But I just saw, oh my gosh, if I could withstand this, then, my competition just isn't doing this. And one thing that I had was heart. And he knew that. He said, and he says now, he calls me Danny, he goes, I couldn't get Danny to quit, and not that he wanted to, right? Because he was responsible, but he would push me, he would test me. And I write it in the book. He would have me do an hour, like grueling workout on the sand. And I'd have to end it with this long run. And as soon as I crossed the finish line, he'd say, 10 more minutes, sir. I thought I was done. And I would be ready to snap, but I would do it. And then when I was done, he would say, never forget that, because you thought you were done, but you weren't done. Never forget that, right? And it's just, he is Crazy Frank, and he is a nut. And if you read my book, you see that, because he is that way, but he's also a genius in certain ways, because he just expands what you think is possible. And he always told me, your mind will always give out before your body.